Here. Sorry about it. Won't take me off mute.
Oh, thanks.
Good.
Terry McCarthy. Joe Kosciuszko
Here.
and Pappas.
Here.
And Mark Carr.
Yes.
All right. And if Dalia does join us, we'll just mark the time that she arrives.
Yep, she's marked as late right now.
All right. Everybody can have a moment of silence, please. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first order of business, consider approving the agenda for today. It's everybody reviewed. Anybody having comments, questions, additions, deletions from the agenda today, or are we approving? All right, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Joe Kosciuszko, second by Terry McCarthy. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no opposed, motion passes, and the agenda is passed for right now and approved. Public comment, agenda items only, there's no one here. So moving on to item 6. Consider approving the minutes from the previous meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of passing? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none. Passed. The minutes are approved from the previous meeting, August 1st. All right, first on the list, land development review, Borion. We were supposed to have a meeting. We found out last meeting internally here that it was being canceled. I think that was like originally the 15th or somewhere around there. I don't know if that is planned to be rescheduled or what's going on there, Mr. Neese.
What you have before you is, are the plans.
Okay.
That's your review. We're not doing a large group review.
Okay. All right, so basically we'll go through that and then pull together our comments from the subcommittee on, hey, sidewalks, all that, and that's pretty much it, right? I mean, making sure that we're getting everything that this committee has been trying to get on any development moving forward, getting the trails, getting the sidewalks, getting the connections. And, okay. All right, so no follow-up meeting. Are we still, I guess, we haven't really had the opportunity to use it since it got instituted, but we have that form now, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what you should be filling out for this.
Yeah, okay. All
So, as a committee, if you have certain things you want to see on that, you should take an action tonight of what you would like to see. So if you want to see sidewalks, you should, if your subcommittee said we want to see sidewalks and trails, the recommendation should be where the sidewalks and trails are. And then make that recommendation back to the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, that's the easy stuff, and I'm just trying to remember if there was any other specific, other than sidewalks, any specific trails that were already identified. I can't remember. Don, do you remember if there was a trail that we had already planned on that location?
Well, yeah, it's going down from Boot Road all the way down to the private road before you hit Route 3.
Okay,
And this property, I think, is adjacent to it as I read the maps. So we should ask for
okay,
that. Be nice if we get the whole corridor.
all right. So we'll add that in, and then Mr. Neese, is it helpful in these reviews? We use the form, we do it, but sometimes it's hard to, for the other people that are then getting that review, we're just going to say, hey, there was a plan to have a trail from this point to this point without actually the visual. Is it helpful to take an excerpt from the official, the open space network plan that actually shows it, hey, it was number this,
Anthony, it's number 8.
number 8, thank you. Maybe it would be helpful to just take that and attach it to the form, say, hey, this is
That's-
the plant trail.
I think that makes the best sense.
Okay, so. Perfect. So we want a piece of that. It was planned, perfect. Perfect. All right, so sidewalks, easy thing, but that specific trail, there's one plan there that we'd always wanted. It's already identified, we can easily show it, attach it to the form. Does anybody else have anything else specific that they'd like the subcommittee to include in the review?
Just from looking at previous comments from other
Yeah.
groups, there was some concern about encroachment onto wetland area.
Mhm.
I know, like, as from a green space perspective, just
Mhm.
echoing that call of like making sure that we're following
Yeah.
what the standards are, so we're not
Okay.
encroaching onto the wetland.
Aren't they asking for a reduction?
I think it's looking, instead of a 40-foot buffer, they're looking to do like, or instead of a 50-foot, they want a 40-foot.
Yeah.
And there's a steep slope that kind of comes down to it, so making sure that like,
Yeah, I think the steep slope is a man-made steep slope.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would argue that the way, according to our code, they're not disturbing
yeah,
ACE.
it's just,
steep.
it makes that, you know, not going into the wetlands, giving
The-
that, making sure
the-
that buffer is there a little bit
Yeah,
more.
the
important to
wetlands
slow down.
issue has been addressed with them. My understanding is they are relooking at the plan and hoping to take the building to the 50-foot mark.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
But you could just, if you wanted to echo that you were in support of them not being within the 50 feet, or however you want to say it, you know.
There's a comment in a memo by Andrew Rezick, asking about, this specific property in relation to the rest of the lifestyle village.
Yes.
His question was, that there's 3 uses that need to be identified. Was that question answered, by the
Yeah,
developer?
the applicant said the 3 uses is they have permission for the hotel. This would be a second use.
Right.
And they already have the permission for Veterans Hall, the meeting hall for the veterans.
Okay,
So those are the 3 uses that they're saying are their 3 uses.
got it. And there's an overall plan that shows this, or is this, like, have they put this, even like a conceptual plan or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know that they have a plan that's showing all 3 on the same piece. They have gotten approval for the first 2
Previously,
previously.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so to be clear, I guess technically put it for a vote then. So we are going to fill out the land review form for our committee. Going to have requests for the addition of sidewalks going from property end to property end so that it can be connected into other developments in the future, other sidewalks and things like that. None of this like, oh, we're only gonna do it on one portion or whatever, right? That trail number 8 specifically identified. I'll include the excerpt from the open space network plan that was previously approved so that it's easily identifiable and visual to the person reviewing it. And then also that we're echoing support under the green space, provision here from some of the other committee members, EAC, not committee members, I'm sorry.
Actually, Delaware County, planning.
I
commission
think,
that
I
said
thought I
for-
saw EAC did one too.
EAC did it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that, a lot of the stuff they said,
50-foot boundary
yeah,
buffer for the wetlands.
yeah, and, walking and trail facilities are. So,
Yeah.
like, just to pull that language and be like, yes, this is what we want.
That's the one from Beckley, right? No, I know, but, oh, okay. Oh, gee. All right.
I actually have a question about
Yeah.
the sidewalk. Is the sidewalk going to go from their building up to the Pike, Westchester Pike?
It won't
And then-
at this time. What we're asking for At least this is my assumption, is what we're asking for is the distance in front of the 6 acres that they're building on. I think they would probably fight with the sidewalk going all the way up to Westchester Pike for 2 reasons. One is I do not believe there's sidewalk on that side of Westchester Pike at the current time.
There is not.
Not,
There
and
there isn't,
nor-
but there is a bus stop.
there is a bus stop.
That
Sure.
was gonna be my next point. Some of the people that actually work in this building use the bus.
Absolutely.
Now, the sidewalk, if it went up Alice Grim, it would have to go down Westchester Pike to that bus stop. There is no bus stop at that intersection.
There's a bus stop just on the other side.
I can say there's a bus
It's
stop.
further down.
Camp, no, just before Drexel Lodge Park, and then there's one coming the other way, just
Yeah,
past.
it's on the other side of Alice Grim. It's on the eastern side of Alice Grim, if I remember right. I mean, look, if you want to make a recommendation for that they have a connection from the bus stop to to there, I think that's a
It-
reasonable
Why did
recommendation.
Is it, the development's taking it up to Westchester Pike though, right? The full development comes up to the Pike now,
No, it does
At
not.
some point it could.
at some point.
Currently, they're developing, can you pull up the plan, please? I think it's the very last one. No, it's just review. No, go to the one up.
It's kind of in the.
Yes, that's the one I was
It's kind
talking
of right
about.
here right now,
Yeah.
but ideally they're
Yeah,
gonna
here's the
develop
bus
everything,
stop.
so like getting ahead of the game.
Drop off
and
of
putting
that
it in
one.
everything.
Yeah, it's kind of a berm near
It's a good thing.
the road. Yeah, it's sort of in
The only concern is
Take
that
it across from this.
there's
I'll say
precedent
this.
set.
I
When,
guess it's intended to
when
serve.
you are doing
Sure.
mitigation
They have
at
people
state, county
Go
levels,
back.
different stuff like that for permits.
and go into the.
And
bus.
if
Are they gonna be
whatever
walking down
agency
the street?
requests
Wait a
a
second,
specific
better
thing
not
be
have
done,
grass.
accessing like that.
It may stop.
If you are permitting the whole thing.
Yeah, don't do that.
You have to do the whole mitigation, even if you plan to phase the work. And the fear is that if you don't, they might decide to change their plans later and then you never get what they had originally.
It sounds like that was a lot of the argument in the planning
Yeah.
commission meeting too,
I remember hearing it.
that like. Supposed to be a lifestyle community and this doesn't fit. All of that.
So walkability is the goal, right? And Joe's point is a good point, that if you want walkability in the township, you have to plan for it now.
Go right out to Westchester Pike.
It should.
And I think the way 8 is drawn, sorry, trail 8, I think it does have it basically following Alice Grim. Down to-
It does.
So, I mean, we have it on our map, we can push for it as far as a sidewalk, I think we have the backing of.
Yeah,
our
it
documents
goes
that
from
go-
an unfinished trail or,
Yeah.
I forget what we called it in the past. We used a specific term, but, and then goes to a sidewalk, still connects, still considered trails. And then turns into sidewalk along Alice Grim, so, yeah, I think it falls in line with number 2 on the list as well, so. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so does everybody else agree?
Go out and.
Do we want to vote or is there more discussion we want to have?
Question about the trail.
Yeah.
Would we?
Primitive trail, that's the term, sorry.
Okay. Would we be interested in saying that in lieu of a sidewalk would be fine with a trail that's not a sidewalk, as long as they do the whole thing?
Personally, yes, I don't know if there's, I mean, so the thing with the sidewalk is that the sidewalk maintenance then is on the property. I guess that would be the only difference, right? Is the trail then, if we got the trail in as an official trail and it was a primitive trail the whole way even to Westchester Pike, then I think the township would technically take the responsibility and it would end up being an easement for the township of some kind, probably.
Yes.
Okay,
Did you lose Steve?
that's significant difference.
I hear something. I don't think we
So
lost it.
8 does this split, right? It does this Y. This
Yeah.
section here, I think parallels the road, so that makes sense to have that be
Yes.
sidewalk. This section does not, it parallels the creek, so that may
Correct.
make more sense to ask for that to be permitted. So I think it may be kind of mixed surfaces. If
It's a
that
lot
makes sense.
easier to walk on the primitive rather than. side.
Yeah, but if you're right next to the road, it makes sense visually and just for like accessibility, if we're looking to get people from the bus stop to a building or something like that, to have it paved for that type of thing. But the other one that goes along the creek, it seems like it's a more of a natural setting where it makes more sense to have a primitive trail. And if anyone wants to look, I do have
We got it.
So I.
oh, this is the trail.
Yeah.
Map. Okay.
We have that too.
So I pulled up the plan from the planning commission.
Yeah.
This is approximate, well, this is where it will be sitting on the site. If you, I mean, yeah, my mouse, this is Campus Boulevard,
Yes.
to give you perspective. I believe the bus stop is somewhere right about here.
Other side.
You think it's on this side?
It's right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Past it.
And then, so if you were asking for a trail up to that point, for them to do that, and then the thing you may want to do then is then ask for a
Crosswalk.
crosswalk at that location.
We could do a crosswalk across Westchester Pike and then one across Campus Boulevard. And then hopefully sidewalk to get to Drexel Lodge.
Is that a PennDOT crosswalk?
Well, it would be a PennDOT approved crosswalk, but it would be
Done under the development,
would be done under.
if
the
they were to
development.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so their contractor would be done as part of that project, it would just have to go through PennDOT approval.
Correct.
And is that in the same situation if they're crossing not Westchester Pike, but just across Alice Grim? Or is it because it's adjacent to Westchester, it's PennDOT approval no matter what?
If it's in that, if it's one of those four
Yeah,
intersection points, it would be all PennDOT. approved.
okay, all right, that's what I need, thank you. All right, so,
At least that's my understanding.
no, that makes sense logically because you're affecting traffic if you're having pedestrians have an avenue to go right there, so it does totally make sense, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's recap. A mixture of sidewalk and primitive trail to accomplish what is in the open space network plan for trail number 8. We include the excerpt, so it's abundantly clear where we're talking. In the past, what I have done on these development reviews, it's just been a long time since we've done one, we've actually taken their PDF of the drawing and also marked it up on there. So that is also helpful of showing exactly where we want it, especially when we get to the whole thing about adding crosswalk. I've done that before. So same thing, we can add it to their PDF, include the excerpt, big circle, hey, number 8, that's what we're talking about. And the final thing then is the 50-foot buffer, and that we're echoing support under our green space initiative on maintaining that 50-foot buffer for preservation of those wetlands, non-encroaching on it.
Are we gonna ask for the trail to be installed the entire length of the creek? From Boot Road all the way down?
Is that all on their property, on this development?
Not on this development, but it's on Bud's property. I mean, a trail that just goes part way isn't gonna.
So you're saying,
So-
where are you saying, sir? Are you talking on this map, like there's number 8? So we're talking from here to here
No,
But I mean,
and
No.
across, right?
we're talking from there all the way down. From Boot Road. Down.
because all that's clogged.
I mean, this isn't really a trail, it's a walk.
This would be sidewalk. and
I
this
thought we
would
were
be
talking about
trail.
this part, here to here, like that.
No.
Bunch of
We wanna go all the way from Boot, all the way down and get the whole thing
Is
done.
that all
Well,
one big
section.
property? Is that the
Yes.
same property?
And, I mean, here you have other stuff, in between, but maybe up here it is.
Yeah, this is Boot. You start with Boot and you go all the way down.
But he connects to
To
the
the
road
creek.
up there.
See it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, how you doing?
Yeah.
On
An
the
easy
property?
connection to the road.
Mr. Dees, do you know if that is all one property
See,
Hey,
how you doing?
or if it's subdivided,
This
Claude's?
here.
Well, it's, so
No. This is.
the section, if you take Alice Grim Boulevard.
Yep.
Which is
this is what you.
Yeah.
basically
The
this
loop.
piece here going around. Come on, from here.
Yep.
All the way around up to this top spot like that. This is one piece of property. Oh, sorry, I have a piece
No
of,
worries.
I think this is 2 or 3 here. I think it's 2.
Yeah, above Alice Grim where it hasn't been developed, I think it's a separate parcel.
It is a separate parcel.
But the same owner.
I
Same
can't,
owner.
does 8 cut through Alice, does 8 cut through the Lifestyle Village, or does 8 go all on the other piece? I don't remember.
I'm not sure, so I'm gonna just walk over there and show you.
And I was trying to pull it up and I've got too many things going. Yeah, it looks like part of it's on that piece of property. So I would at least, even if you don't ask for it all to be developed at this time, I would at least ask for the easement for the connections,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
they probably aren't gonna want to develop on what they're not developing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then I would ask for the easement on the pieces so that you can get it all.
that's what I was asking about, like the different properties where the development, because I definitely, no matter what, we want the easement.
Yeah, so I would ask for the entire easement, but I would ask for the trail to be
Yeah,
developed on the
yes.
Lifestyle Village portion that
Uh,
was gonna be done.
but.
As long as it connects up to
Boot Road.
the bus stop and all that, we've got to create
I
something.
think that's a different request.
This is actually.
I think you have a
this is
request for trail number
This
8.
Well, 8 is both.
That is
It splits.
It
It's like
splits, it's like a Y.
Against this.
Oh, well,
They've got it
I'm sorry,
designated, yeah, they've got it designated, it's like a Y, it's
Yeah.
2 parts.
And this trail we put in, it's gotta connect to
coming
Boot
down.
Road.
Oh, I see.
Nobody else
And
can
going
access
up
it.
And then following the creek.
So it
Yeah,
goes
I
a bit
would,
further
what I,
than the actual.
I know, but I don't think they're gonna ever go.
I would ask for 8.
But if we got the easement, it would put us in the situation of also getting grants where even if they didn't do it, if we had the easement, then we could do it in the future as well. But from a construction standpoint, there's a lot more disturbance that would have to happen if they would come off of that property beyond on the other side. But we could get primitive trail along that creek here and then sidewalk along all the way up Alice Grim to the bus stop, sure. And that would not be considered unreasonable because they'd be using the same construction pathways and access points. PennDOT's gonna require E&S controls along that whole spot as well, so you're not increasing the level of disturbance from a engineering, construction, environmental standpoint. But we definitely need the easement, and then that gives us options in the future too.
Easement's important.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I would ask for the easement on the entire piece. I would ask for the development of the piece coming down from Westchester Pike all the way through to what would be Trail 5 in the future.
Yes.
I mean, I got a new computer, so I'm like
The piece that
struggling to have
goes-
stuff pulled
A
up.
piece that goes from Alice Grim Boulevard to
Yeah.
Boot Road, I would ask for just the easement on. The other piece, I would ask for the development.
The one along this street.
So I would ask for development
Yeah, I don't think they would.
of this.
That would be
Because
sidewalk
it's
and
when
then
that
this would
building's sitting-
be.
Easement should go all the
I'm
way down.
assuming that that's along the
Should
creek,
make
it's
it-
not along.
yes, it
the
is.
road.
It's gonna make the
That's
whole
well, I
loop.
mean, well, however
We're trying to
you
make
want
like,
it,
we're gonna get the
whatever
trail with
plan is.
primitive here,
But I would
here,
say
and then
this
when
would
it hits
go all
the
the way to
apex
here.
where
We
it
want all of
splits,
that.
then we're gonna
Okay.
get a sidewalk all the way
The
back, so
easement
you're gonna
from
have
here to here.
two spots at
Okay.
Westchester Pike.
Well, no, I'm
So
sorry.
you
here
could
to
essentially
yeah.
hit it from both
here.
sides,
This-
which
Cool.
would be really nice, and it connect to the creek, so you could have public access to the creek then as well. You don't currently have. So that would be nice, so.
That's for the development.
It's
That's
all.
Then we can start developing
This
the
You
the
have.
trail itself in the
So
future.
easement for that little bit of development.
A little bit in here to get.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
road.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Big Road, okay, right, got it.
Once we have the easement, we're there.
Well, no, we're gonna ask him to
Develop.
do this part.
Well, it's an easement and a development.
Yeah, and then.
You
just
you
straight-
can't say all of Trail 8 because part of Trail 8 is not on their property.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
The west or the east side of Boot Road is not on their property.
Okay.
So we can't do that. We would have to say it's the west of Boot Road. We would like the entire easement
ask
for
for
Trail
development
8.
of This and then.
And then
this.
For development, we would like the section
You could ask for it.
from, you would like the section from Route 3 to its connection at trail number 5,
69.
Yeah.
which is the one that runs along Crum Creek.
So not, so 5 is along Crum Creek,
Maybe not.
so it'd be this section that he's saying ask for development of, and then this section for.
We need an easement all the way down.
Well, no, he's saying development
All right,
of that.
That's gonna be developed?
We have,
I think you should ask for the full development. I don't think they're gonna give it all, but if you don't ask for it, you don't get anything. So I think what you're asking
and
for
this.
is the development of that section of the trail, because all of that section of the property would be developed at that point. I mean,
We'll do this.
not all of it, but most of it would be developed at that point. And
Building up.
the one section between Alice Grim and 5 is already developed.
Yep.
So you're just getting that connection.
Okay. All right, so we have to do a little recap here for Mark, who's trying to feverishly write and take notes and stuff. So, because we have to create a motion. So the motion, as it is right now, please anyone correct me if I screw this up, is, I'll start with the easy one then now, is the 50-foot offset. We're echoing support up. I thought it was 50.
They're.
Just
Just
say we're-
50 and they're asking for 40, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, we are echoing the support other members, Delaware County, on maintaining 50-foot buffer from the wetlands and the development. That's number one. Then we are asking for the development of, and I'll show specifically sections of Trail 8 as previously identified in the open space network plan. I will pull the excerpt. I will mark it up on here using the same color coding or callouts or something. And say, see attached, see image below, whatever. I sometimes have embedded the image in the Word document. Looks fine, and then you attach a bigger map. And then we are also requesting easement for the rest of the section of Trail 8 that is on this same property. It would continue along that and be another future connection point in the future, hopefully.
It's a separate property, isn't it?
It's a separate property.
It
so that's
connects to
an
each other.
easement of 8 over to
Correct.
Boot Road,
Yes.
from Alice Grim Boulevard to Boot Road.
The sections.
Yeah.
I have a clarifying question.
Okay, before you do that, real quick for the record, I don't know if we did it for the record. Did we say so? Did you?
What, acknowledge her presence here?
Yeah, did we do it on tape?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
the
didn't hear
tape?
it.
No,
not
no,
on
sorry,
tape,
not on
sorry.
tape. So Dr. Delia Archer
Thank
came in what time?
5:56. 5:56.
Okay, 56, fine.
Specific. All right, good. All right, sorry, go ahead, Delia.
So in the plans, my question is, what we're going to suggest, is that also in connection with the Arbor Group? Like, will our recommendations either go against or support what the Arbor Group?
Are you talking about the tree committee?
Shade
Yeah.
tree, shade tree?
Sorry.
Shade trees commissions, I don't think anything that you're asking for would be against what shade tree commission is
Okay.
asking.
All right, Arbor Tree, sorry.
I didn't know if there was another one that I've missed. I didn't
Sorry.
know if there was
Shade
some.
tree.
Yeah,
Or if there, well, no, because there's other people that weigh in on this, like Delaware County weighed in, so there's, you never know.
okay,
All right,
that was it.
okay. Got it. So, Mark, let me know when you're
We're gonna
ready.
Switch it back.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Go back to your.
We're gonna
other
put it for a
computer.
vote then.
No,
No?
no, we're gonna listen to what I've got written. and
Oh,
make
okay.
sure it gets-
Sorry.
So,
Thank you.
so we're gonna fill out the plan review form and include the open space network map. Question I had, we talked about sidewalks to the end of their property. We're gonna continue to ask for that, or we're just gonna move to the trail?
That was,
The
no, so
development-
part of the trail is a sidewalk.
Understand.
But the clarification, that's a good point you brought it up, is we still should be asking for sidewalk along Westchester Pike anyways, because not everybody who, this is not all about that. And do we, and it's on there, actually. So that's number 3 on the open space network plan technically. So thank you. Good
I
question.
think asking for all of that's probably more than what you
Yeah.
can legitimately ask for on a 6-acre subdivision. If you're gonna ask for the sidewalk all the way down Westchester Pike, that they're not developing, I think that's appropriate. I'm not saying it should.
No, I understand.
But when they come back in for the lifestyle village for that next phase, that's when I would ask for that.
Okay.
I think
That's the portion that's built right up against the road,
that would be the portion that's built
Right.
closer to the road,
still on that side.
still on that side.
Yes.
Okay, that's a fair point. Okay.
Okay, so
I mean, I don't want them to dismiss the whole thing because you've asked for so much and they say, we're not, it's too much. I'd rather get a win at what we want, and because we've asked for a legitimate amount and do that.
So if I could ask your advice regarding this then. Would it be better for the overall population of Newtown Township, ask for the development of the sidewalk and the easement for all the trail stuff? Because I do feel, and I would personally, as an individual, love the trail, but I feel like the majority of the residents would benefit more greatly now, more immediately from a sidewalk
I
along
mean, a
Westchester Pike.
sidewalk, I think asking for a sidewalk along Westchester Pike is overarching for where this particular.
Okay,
what
because
this
of where the
particular-
development is.
I think of where it is on the property and what it is on the property.
And you think there's a higher chance of getting in the future anyways, so.
Well, I think when you come back in the future, when they go to do the
Yeah.
land, when they go to do the land development for the lifestyle village, I think it's a slam dunk request. I don't think there's any question that you should get that. I think that I think the key is to make sure there is a connection from that location to Westchester Pike, so that somebody can get to the bus, because that's what we're trying to encourage. We're trying to encourage walkability of the town. So that, I think, is a total legitimate request, whether they put it in as all sidewalk or whether they put it in as all trail, sidewalk in front and trail for temporary until they do the development. I don't think we care. I think we care that there's a connection.
No, that's a good point. Thank you for answering the question. So, sorry, go back to you.
It's
Mark.
okay. So we can take that sidewalk line out, because we just discussed that. All right, easement for trail number 8 from the open space network plan west of Boot Road to Alice Grim Boulevard.
Yes.
Development of trail number 8 from Route 3 to connection to trail number 5 at Plum Creek.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the way I would cover that is say development of trail / sidewalk, because we think part of it's.
Part of it is going to be sidewalk. It's all identified in here as
Okay.
trail, but yes, part of it will be primitive, part of it will be sidewalk.
Okay,
I think if you do it that way, you're covered for the whole thing.
okay. Crosswalk at Westchester Pike. Full 50-foot wetlands buffer. What I got?
You got it? All right,
You have the easement going all the way down
Yes,
the creek.
yes.
Okay.
So the easement for trail 8 from the open space network plan west of Boot Road all the way down to Alice Grim Boulevard.
Well, Alice Grim Boulevard occurs before the end.
well, he's got multiple sentences in this. He's taking it.
Okay,
So it's basically going from here to here,
all right.
and then an easement for this bed here. That is not on
That's
the
what.
plan that's being
Is this
built.
going to be an easement here?
We're gonna ask for development, but
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be
Okay.
happy if we get an easement.
It'd be nice to get development here because you can access it from Blue Ways.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah.
Understood.
Down to Crump Creek.
Right, we don't want to flood it.
Says no hollow.
But it's
Okay.
important to get that easement.
Anything more?
Otherwise,
That's all I have.
Okay,
So
when that
questions,
gets sold,
comments,
it's gonna
additions?
get
so
sold.
let's go round robin and make sure does everybody understand what the motion we're creating that we're gonna vote on a second here? Does anybody, any additional questions? Delia?
No.
Evan? Joe? Mr. Falcon?
No, but we gotta move this along. I think we only have till 6:30.
Yeah, I know.
We don't-
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Good, I'm good. Okay,
Okay.
all those in favor
No,
of,
got a motion.
I'm sorry. Do I hear a motion to put this up for a vote? Thank you.
Second,
Moved by Beth, seconded by John. All those in favor of voting to put this in our land development review, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, hearing no opposed, motion passes. Get that together, get that out. When's the next meeting? When does it need to be prepared by? Or not our meeting, is this planning commission or board of supervisors? that need to
Board of
be-
Supervisors,
When
and I'm
is
not
the next
100% sure when it's going before the Board of Supervisors, but I would say we probably have 30 days.
Oh, perfect, okay, all right.
And I just confirmed, there's actually is crosswalk at there's actually crosswalk there.
At Westchester Pike or across the Alice?
Both.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
a
great.
crosswalk across Alice Grim, and there's crosswalk across Westchester Pike on the Drexel Lodge side.
Okay, good.
So you can, and there's crosswalk at, across, Campus Boulevard. So you have 3 of the 4 areas with crosswalk.
That's great. Mhm. Okay, thank you, everyone. On to next item, 7.2 Porsche. I didn't put that on there, so that
Can you
was
pull
an
up the
ad from the
plans?
township.
I believe at the last meeting, I mentioned that this plan.
Yeah.
Had come in. I will tell you, they're in the process of doing some changes to it. I think that you will like. But the piece that we've requested on your behalf, can you go down? I think just go down one more slide, please. I think that one will do it.
I think you want page 4.
Go down just a little bit more.
Down.
So this is a 3-story parking garage structure.
Please go to the next page.
Huh?
Please go to the next page. This is what you want.
There's a 3-story parking garage structure that's going in. We are requesting on your behalf the continuation of the sidewalk that's there. That would actually go all the way in front of the existing Porsche dealer and the parking lot that's there. I think this is where the Lotus sales are right now, if I recall right. There's a black building, this Lotus sales. That structure would come down, this 3-story parking garage would come up. We've asked for sidewalk all the way across this, connecting to the sidewalk that they put in front of the Ferrari dealership.
I know this is gonna fall underneath shade. Anyway, they're looking at planting a ginkgo, like replace the Zocovia with a ginkgo again.
They're going through all of that with
Yeah.
the arborist.
Okay.
And the other thing that they've asked them to do is remove the parking in front and make it all grass.
Okay,
Or
Those spots right there that we said.
yes,
and again, I mean, as far as green space, I know this is going to be developed, but light pollution is a thing with green space, and I know like over at Alice Preserve, they leave the lights on in the parking garages and it's bright. If lights can be turned off, unless they're parking the cars that they're selling in there, and I
they're
get their.
parking cars they're selling. There's
Okay,
no way
then
they're
that-
turning them off.
Or at least have like a dim or something
Yeah.
for nighttime,
Yeah,
so
well,
it's
so
not blinding.
You could ask that they meet, standard.
Lead
current
certification.
standard.
Yeah, lead certification on the stuff nowadays with parking garages is you have motion sensors when people or cars are moving through areas. There's an advanced system that goes and lights up the area beyond you so
Yeah.
that at night, if it's like 2 a.m., there's no operations, there's nothing going on, it's off. But then when people start coming in the morning, then they start lighting up and only as necessary. So that's pretty standard in most of those designs.
And again, I see that as impacting green space around it and migration for birds and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
green space falls. Falls
I
underneath
think
that.
that's a fair request that's what you're asking for. I think that what I would tell you is we've had this conversation with them already. They're talking about security of their cars,
Yeah,
and their cars are
expensive.
a little bit more expensive than what I drive. And so, they're gonna want to make sure that they protect those the best they can. But I think that we can talk about what they do, particularly with exterior lighting and those kind of things.
If we get rid of the parking spots in the front there, then they're not parking, expensive cars right on Westchester Pike, and they'll be better protected in the garage. See?
Yeah, as they keep making that dealership bigger and bigger, the lights just keep getting brighter and brighter. It's like,
All right, so
Gonna take over the whole township.
the continued sidewalk from the Ferrari through. You're already requesting to get rid of the spots, are they already on board with that? Putting
My
that to
understanding,
grass?
that's already being done. I mean, that's
Okay.
what I understand, but
Okay.
I'm not.
You haven't
These are the
seen that yet.
These are the
All right.
plans I still have that I showed you. We have not gotten the new plans yet. I was told the other was being done.
Okay, so Chris, nice, and then consideration of exterior lighting
particularly at
and
night.
in particularly night for wildlife reasons and.
Migrating birds.
Yep, okay.
Does it make sense to ask for the removal of the remaining curb cut and have it access through the dealership only? Removing one curb cut now and leaving one. Does it make sense to ask for removal of all the curb cuts and have continuous sidewalk and have it access through the dealership only?
Under safety, pedestrian safety?
Yes.
So remember, you weren't there. You and I were there, the Delaware County thing,
Yeah.
we did the walk and they were talking about the amount of aprons and safety pedestrians walking across. I mean, that would be, again, still trying to keep it under the purview of the committee. And, you know, walkability and safety of pedestrians, that's what I'm thinking is what we were covered under. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about like,
The apron.
yeah, where you have to like step down from the sidewalk to cross. One thing that we were looking at with that was having, you know, have the cuts, so it is a slope and, or a gentle, you know, thing, and then having like rumble strips almost. So folks know that you are crossing a road or driveway of some sort. Yeah, yeah.
Well, this was in a different context. We were doing this safety walk a little while back on Westchester Pike, and there was certain aprons that were so wide. And there was like people fly through them, and it's like, you know, you are, especially in certain areas, and this was immediately across from St. Albans Circle, and you've got spots where it's like, I mean, people are flying up off the curb essentially, but because it's so long as a pedestrian, you make it from safety to safety.
Turning into Acme.
Yeah, turning to Acme and like one after another, so, yeah.
Oh, maybe something like that, like instead of eliminating it, have it raised and rumble strips, whatever. Yeah, I'd like to recommend that.
I'll list it as curb cut, pedestrian safety devices. Because that's like the handicap, for the blind, the bumps underneath when you're about to enter into a curb cut, but then you have something going across, so.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I'm just.
I don't either. I know that the term pedestrian safety devices is kind of more broadly used, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know the name either. I'll have to look it up. Okay. Yes, absolutely.
I have one clarifying question. So when we think about, when we were talking about lighting, when I drive past there, it's already light, it's already bright? Or are they adding more lights? is my
They will
question.
inevitably be adding lights to any structure, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
They'll probably have cameras on the corners of the structure. I mean, most parking garages, you're gonna have exterior lighting towards the entrances at the bottom where they're actually physically driving in.
Mhm.
And then they're gonna have, so they'll have floodlight, but they're relatively low. The thing we're trying to avoid is at the upper levels of the structure, having just random floodlights that are always on during the night
Or just
that are
lights
casting
spilling
out.
Mhm.
from the
Yeah.
sides too.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
question.
and the lights are usually supposed to be from the interior focused inward towards the driving surfaces and downward. So typically they're mounted high, inward and downward, so that people can back in a parking space, but also have a safe like alleyway of light when they're driving out. And then they'll usually around the entrances and where the, you know, gates are and stuff, they'll usually have floodlighting going down. But yeah.
So that's where they're putting it right here?
That's how all the new ones are done. That's because most buildings built, there's not a lot of parking garages being built outside the cities. In the cities, it's
So
code.
that's adding more light.
State of Pennsylvania, any state facility has to have LEED, but private
And
facilities don't.
that's what I was.
But the
thinking
industry
about.
has moved so
This
far,
one is already bright at night.
it's more or less. All right, is everybody good to put this one up for another similar motion? Okay, made a motion by who wants to make the
Whoops.
motion?
How about if we read what I put down?
We're running out of time. I'm
It's all
sorry.
right. Continuation of sidewalk connecting to existing sidewalk at the Ferrari. Removal of parking spaces in front of Westchester Pike.
In place of grass in that buffer.
Exterior lighting to meet current standards with consideration
Yeah,
of
that makes
wildlife
sense.
and bird migration.
Yeah.
Garage lights should be activated by motion sensors at night. Curb cuts meet pedestrian safety standards. Okay.
Does that really address what you said? Curb cuts.
Do I,
To reduce the curb
They're
cut?
already eliminated.
Yeah,
You're-
but I mean, you were
Make a
asking
motion
to extend it.
Prove that.
seconded motion by member Pappas, seconded chair. All those in favor of implementing what Mark just said into the review? Aye?
Aye.
Hearing no opposed, that passes. Moving on to future land development review, which there's nothing right now. If, I'm assuming, because that usually comes from the township. But this is a good exercise because we haven't done these in a while, so appreciate everybody's input on getting these two clear. On to new business. Possible action on e-bike committee. Joe, Mark and I were going over it prior to the meeting. We had looked at the questions and everything you had had. We had had no additional ones that we went to, so basically we were, in the past, this has been different, right? In the past, the subcommittees kind of did stuff and then just brought it up to the group. So I don't know what the official procedure should be, but essentially the subcommittee, Joe prepared questions for an ultimate survey that we want to send out. Mark and I looked over review. We liked them. We didn't have any additional that popped in our head. I did a little bit of Google research and just trying to see if there was anything else out there, but ultimately Joe carried and covered everything. So the question is then, what is the procedure? Do we need to, can we
The
just
committee should.
now do it?
committee-
Or do we bring it to the whole committee to make
Committee should
recommendations?
approve it
All right.
and then, move forward. Do you have it ready for them to approve?
I don't know if we do, because not everyone else has had the opportunity to review it, and I don't know if we, so what I'm thinking is for next meeting, we actually embed a document in the agenda that goes on as, okay, this is actually something we're going to be voting on next meeting, so everybody will have the opportunity. We could also send it to the committee ahead of time, so they have that. So our subcommittee, we're good. We've kind of, reviewed it. Joe prepared everything. We're going to send it then to everybody else between now and next meeting. Please review it. And then have your questions, comments ready if there's any additional add-ons you want to do. And then in theory, if there's no changes or there's minor changes in which we can handle within the meeting, we could also vote on making that recommendation of, hey, Board of Supervisors, we'd like this to go forward, and getting this survey out to the public by whatever means the township really is trying to go about that.
If you will include me in the copy so I can
Sure.
start looking at what's the options for us to do this survey.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna send it to the whole group.
Hmm.
And we'll copy Steve.
And it'll be up for review for the October vote at the October meeting.
Yes. Joe, did I miss anything, sir?
No, you didn't miss anything.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, 9.2, discussion possible action, first steps, trail maps. Beth, I don't know if you're even prepared for that. I threw it on there. I apologize.
No.
I did not know that as many things would also be added later. I didn't know how voluminous our conversation would be with this, so I didn't realize we'd be down at the wire.
I am not, so we can skip that.
Okay. To not ignore everybody else, I don't know if anybody else had any questions, but this is something that we're gonna be putting on the agenda every week, because we do need to start making progress on some of these. Easier win, lower good stuff that's going to help the public. Trail maps is a big one, signage, so
Yeah.
we're gonna continue to bring this stuff up. It's gonna come up every meeting.
I am gonna say one thing. At some point, me and George a few years ago met and talked about where to put signage for like directions on trails. To kind of say like, oh, township buildings here and this is over here. So like if you're walking the trail, you know where you are within the space. I don't know that anything has progressed with that, but that is something that we can revisit too, to see, in addition, because I know we were talking about possible maps and signage at trailheads for this and where styles of maps, and I know there was a couple styles sent out.
Is everybody okay with going 10 minutes long? Because I do think we're gonna push some stuff to the next meeting, but I just want to get through the official move stuff around. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes. Another meeting.
7.
That's, I don't want to push too far in there, but I want to try and at least get through and procedurally make sure that if we haven't covered some, we're getting on the next. But I do want to talk to you, Terry. So upcoming events, I know there was a few, those can't necessarily wait. We had talked about some of the events where you needed help because you're not gonna be able to cover all of them. So I'd like to go over those in the time we have now.
First, I'd like to thank Evan for this amazing walk we did that included a tour of the fire company. It was just really gracious, amazing tour. So even despite rain, we had a dozen people
yeah.
or so. It was good. It was very, very good. And we got 5-star reviews on the meetup from it with really nice comments. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
That's
very
awesome.
much.
Yes.
On the 21st of this month, which is Saturday, at 9:30, we're going to have a walk on the Radnor Trail.
What was the date again?
Saturday, the 21st,
Thank you.
starts at 9:30. We go to the far west end, park in the parking area there, walk to the Wayne Arts Center. And the Wayne Arts Center is going to welcome us. The president of the Wayne Arts Center and the marketing department are going to give us a tour. The chair of their board may be there too. And Lisa Borowski is already excited about it. So she's coming, and then we leave and do the rest of the trail, go all the way up and then come back. It's 2.44 miles one way.
So we're parking on the west end.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
At what
So,
9:30.
9:30 Saturday, the 21st. I can make that one and I'll put out the announcement tomorrow. And
Yeah,
hopefully-
I'm coming to that one as well.
Cool. I hope we get 40, 50 people to this. So really, if you see it on anything, I'll have it on the patch, of course, Facebook, the meetup. Blow it up, please.
Yeah, that trail in general can take a lot of volume of people. It has really good parallels to, because that was a Pico rail trail success stories type stuff. So the
Yeah.
plans that we have in the future for our own. So as many of our residents and friends we can get out there to show them, this is a success story of a similar model that we're trying to do for one of our trails. That would be a good thing.
That's a good point because we want to give a parallel to environments that we can do here. I did
Oh.
write a blurb about it.
And-
It'll go out.
And this is one that is very good for everybody. It's
It's-
handicap accessible because it's entirely paved. Kids are good there, dogs, everything, so, yeah.
Yeah.
You can ride your bike.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, Terry, suggestion, maybe, put a pin where the starting point is, so people can know. Anybody who's not familiar with the township,
I think,
because we
I
do
think
get a
on,
lot of people from other townships.
That's a good
I
point.
think on the meetup, you usually
gives
do
a
that
map.
anyways. It gives a map and a location of like trailhead or like meetup spot.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it's there, but.
But it's a good history walk too. They have historic markers with explanations, and in the article I wrote about the history, so it'll all go out tomorrow. On the 27th, just because there are neighbors here, we're going to have an art reception. I want to let you know, Beth, 2 gorgeous photographs in there. Everything in there is $100 and under, and 20% goes to the library. So it's
And
our
that's the
first-
20.
That's the
7th.
27th, which
Thank
is a
you.
Friday at 5:30. Bird walk, I cannot make this, but it's an 8 a.m. bird walk at Garrett Williamson on October 12th. And if anybody is available, we are more than welcome to run a walk in conjunction with them, or they have a limit of 60 and they registered through another organization like CRC or Delco.
So it would be like the last one we did more recently where they did the same thing. We kind of all met up together, shared some notes, and then they went on their hike and we went on ours.
Right, and it was also like 60, 70 people there, and
Yeah.
it was a real nice day, so.
CRC has handled that in the past.
Yeah, people register with them for the
Yeah.
bird work, but ours is separate and we do, you can go with them, no doubt, but if they hit their registration limit, we can run a separate one and go the opposite
Okay.
direction. But I'm not there, so if anybody wants to run that, 8 a.m.
I'm gonna try and go because I really I want to find every opportunity I can whenever Garrett Williamson is there, and they've been great hosts, so
Yeah,
I definitely want, I'm gonna go. And my daughter's been asking for me to take her on more hikes, so.
well, if you don't mind, I'll email you
Yeah.
and the rest of the crew and ask for a volunteer and then put it up on Meetup too. Last one is Harvest Fest at Garrett Williamson. They've asked us to do 2 walks. It's the following Saturday, the 19th of October. They've asked us to do a 12:30 and a 1:30 hike. I can make that. Don't know if anybody.
12:30 and 1:30?
Yes, I really would like some other help though. If some, we need, a sweeper for each, and it's kind of a hectic time of year, so if anybody around,
I'll try and make that one too then, because
really,
No, I'll ask, Garrett if Garrett or Nate, if they'd be willing to at least sweep if I can't make it.
your boys.
Yeah.
yay. Yeah, because you gotta have a good sweeper.
And
Yeah.
Garrett was a counselor this summer there, so.
Oh,
You
yeah,
should be
that's
fine.
right. Okay, that's it
I'd
for
sweep,
for
but
everything,
I'm too
guys.
slow.
We're sweeping you, John.
Thank
Somebody can
you.
push me in a cart if they'd like.
There you go.
That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Here I go about 4 minutes. So 9.4 then, so I did not know that we were gonna take this long today, so I will update everybody. So what's happened is we had the subcommittee for literally the entire length that this committee has been around for the official town map. It's an initiative that the township and John in the past had tried to get through many, many years ago. It's something that we're doing and been kind of developing of identifying key parcels in the township. And then we recently learned there are a lot of township-owned properties, municipal authority-owned properties that are actually not as protected as we would have thought. And we didn't even realize that. Like, again, most of us are lay people walking into this world, don't even realize the levels of government, how that kind of works. So the township has kind of been supporting, like helping. We've been looking at different things, and the subcommittee ultimately created a proposal to put in front of the Board of Supervisors. I had pulled together a list of various properties, again, the township owned, municipal authority owned. Some of these are ones along trail corridors. Some of them are recreation importance, like all this kind of stuff. So this actually it's important to our committee, because one of the things that we need to do is have the ability to protect these parcels, protect other parcels, acquire land, easements, different things. The official town map allows you to do that. So for instance, there's a municipal authority property on there. If for some reason that would ever go up for sale or try to get developed, that would hurt the township in many different ways. And especially if it's along a major corridor access point where we would want to put sidewalks, trails, it provides a township with the ability to negotiate, to either acquire easements, purchase, different things like that, for the purpose of getting these type of things in. So that being said, then have this nice list now. The township wants to incorporate this finally and get a bigger overall plan. So we're doing this. It is going to help some of our other committees that we kind of worked with, Parks Department, potentially other things, and the township as a whole. So it's way too long to go through now that we have no time. So what I'm going to do is the same thing that I mentioned on the other thing, I believe, unless anyone disagrees with me, so please speak up. But I think what I'll do then is the subcommittee, we went over, reviewed the document. I'm going to send it to the rest of the committee now, and I will upload it into and get it to the township so they can embed it in next month's agenda. And we will plan on voting on it next month after all the comment, review stuff. So yes, it's way too long to go through now. It's even if we had only that on one meeting, it would have been tough getting them out here potentially. So yeah, I should have moved it further up in the list. That's fine. Does anybody have any questions regarding that? But ultimately, I'll send it to you. Some of you, again, already involved in the subcommittee. Some of you have already kind of known we've been working on this stuff and known some of the details, but you'll have all of them soon. Anybody have any? Yes.
Does it include the historic buildings that have a Cavalier list of all the historic properties? They're not open.
No, so the other thing to keep in mind is the official town map is intended to be a living document, I'll call it. So it is something that can be added to, expand upon in the future. And ultimately, what would probably happen is once, but the township doesn't have one currently at all. So the idea would be to get an official town map approved and the basic procedures of it. And then in theory, in the future, not just for us, like I said, this is helping the entire township, the other committees, the Historical Society, the AC, Parks and Rec, whatever, could technically make similar proposals to add a property to it. So that's another option. I don't think in the list that we had, that one was on there though, I don't believe. Could be wrong.
We have 3 of the 5 already, or we'll have 3 of the 5. So I don't think we had added those.
Okay. But, yeah. So
I mean, if you're talking about all historic properties, or you're talking about the 5 class 1s?
5 ones really that.
Yeah, because we own 3 of them. We will own 3 of the 5 after the deed is transferred for the John West House.
Will do, pretty good start.
well, yeah, and that's the whole idea is that like, you gotta look at this as like, gotta start somewhere. We gotta get these type of things going so that the township has capability in the future. And then we can add properties to it as we need in the future, which is great. So, good question though. Yeah. Joe? Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Okay, so I will get that out to everybody, just like the other documents, and then that will be embedded into next month's agenda and it'll officially come up for vote there. Old business up, down on the lot, that was just because, you know, it's.
Yeah,
until
what I
it's
can
built,
tell
I'm gonna
you,
keep
what I
asking.
can tell you is they've continued to work. They've laid down millings for vehicles to park down there. It's not ready for
Yeah.
vehicles to park down there, but they've started that process. We're working through some trail issues. We did get approval from PennDOT to do the delineators. We are now looking at whether or not we can do those in-house or going to have to do a third party, but that's where we are.
I'm gonna waive my section that I usually bring up because we're good. You know, we can move on from 10.2 because that's usually just an overview of everything that we do. And then 10.3 is the last official stuff is the budget request. It's kind of different than what we did last year with that form and everything, but essentially the things that we want to be able to accomplish this year, trail signage is a big one. Finding a way to have the meetup group fee paid for, and then the graphic design for the trail map. So really it's the maps and signs are a very tangible thing that we want to be able to spend money on this year. And the meetup group, those are the only things that really have a high importance that we think are very achievable, can do, and relatively low dollars. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything to in theory what we want for budget. Short of, you know, millions to buy up a whole bunch of properties and build trails. They're trying to be reasonable.
We just add that.
Just add that in, like, yeah. All right.
Sneak that under.
Yeah. Okay. Any additional business? Any additional comment from our board members? Committee members? No public comment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motioned, sorry. Out of here.
Moved and seconded, Beth and Joe. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. No
Aye.
opposed?